And it's a new week. Hello and welcome to the marketplace. In the next 30 minutes, ADB Bank offers the highest lending rate in the banking industry. That's according to the latest Bank of Ghana's report, as 14 out of 23 banks offer lending rates of more than industry average of about 20.5%. Also in the bulletin, we analyze the recent trends in Ghana's aviation space as South Africa Airways resumes direct flights to Africa. Of course, Accra in that nature. What does this mean for Ghana and the continental free trade? We'll find out in the bulletin. Also coming up in the marketplace, Ghana's housing deficit surpasses 2 million housing units. As the cost of housing increases, we explore safer options as we build up to the JoyNews EcoBank Habitat Fair. Hello once again, you're welcome to the program. We have more after this break to stay.
What's up, guys? My name is Sammy Forson, host of the Weekend City Show and Ignition right here on Joy 99.7 FM. Well, anytime you happen to be busy and you miss out on your favorite shows right here on Joy FM, here's what you can do. Log on to myjoyonline.com/podcast. Just go on there and you'll find all your shows on demand 24/7. There you can catch up. Remember, Joy FM remains your radio for discerning listeners.
Hello and welcome. I'm Charles Aite. To our first story, ADB Bank is offering the highest lending rate, whereas Cal Bank offers the lowest rate in the banking industry. That's according to a new Bank of Ghana report. The report shows that Cal Bank's average lending rate on loans at the end of July was pegged at 15.9%. George Raffi has the rest of the story.
The average lending rate of the Universal Bank's report put together by the Bank of Ghana tracks the real interest that the banks are charging on loans offered to customers and the general public. From the publication, Cal Bank's average lending rate of 15.97% beats the rate offered by the other 22 universal banks ending July this year. The bank that came close to what Cal offers is GT Bank, which charges customers and the public an average rate of 16.97%. However, ADB can be described as the bank that has the highest interest rate on the market, as at the end of July this year, it offered 24.87% as average interest on all loan products. The central bank in the report argues that these rates represents the average of all interest rates applicable on loan products for borrowers, which has been reported by all the commercial banks. The Bank of Ghana believes the regular publication of this report will help bring down rates. The central bank had in the past been always publishing this data. However, it was halted for no official reason. It is not clear for now what might have influenced its resumption or whether the recent calls by the president during the inauguration of the reconstituted board of the Bank of Ghana for them to help drive down rates might have influenced this.
We're joined via Zoom by a banking and finance expert as well as lecturer at the Department of Finance at the University of Ghana Business School, Dr. Benjamin Amoah, for some analysis. We're so grateful, Doctor, that you joined us. What does the data conform to prevailing economic conditions? What does it confirm, actually, to existing economic conditions?
Thank you for having me. The data is speaking to us about general improvement in the macroeconomic indicators. When you look at the average downward trends that we have seen in lending rates from the banks. So from the global view, if you look at the whole picture, what it's telling us is that interest rate, or for that matter, cost of lending is gradually reducing on the Ghanaian loanable market, loanable funds market.
So do the rates actually indicate that lending rates are high in Ghana currently, despite the fact that we've seen the policy rates reduce?
In fact, the factors that goes into what influences a bank's lending rate are many. You need to talk about the bank's ability to attract deposit, factor in administrative costs, compare it to going money market instruments rate like the T-bill, and then decide to whether to give it out as a loan, assuming the risks thereof, or to do an alternate investment available on the market. So If the banks are giving out the loan facility at this rate, then it means that, yes, the rates are okay based on the assessment that they've done and how competitive the market is for the players, in this case, the banks.
But if you're looking deeper as well, what's your take on Cal Bank's performance of the 15.97% as lowest interest rate among its compatriots?
Again, a lot of factors will come into what is it that is influencing this rate for Cal Bank. It may be the case that Cal Bank's ability to mobilize deposits is far better than the competing banks that we have on the market, because they may be sourcing it from wholesalers who have funds and are prepared to give Cal Bank these funds at a better rate compared to their competitors. Again, it may be the case that Cal Bank has retail depositors who are prepared to give their funds to Cal Bank at relatively good rate. And then again, it may be some cost efficiency measure that Cal Bank has succeeded in achieving that the other competitors may be yet to achieve. And that may be influencing the low rates that Cal Bank is passing on to its clients that request for loans from them.
Well, of course, we're having this discussion in the back of President Akufo-Addo, charging the Bank of Ghana, the members of its board to investigate matters regarding the high cost of lending. We've seen the continuous decline in the policy rate, hence the president much more concerned about, despite the various interventions by the central bank to reduce the policy rate, we're seeing numbers as these on our screens. Where do we strike the balance regarding the value chain of policy rating in Ghana currently?
It is the banks that do the actual lending. It is the banks that go around mobilizing for funds. And it is the banks that must promise their depositors interest rates or deposit rates that will attract funds from them. On the other side, the Monetary Policy Committee looks at the overall economy and then attempts to influence price levels in the economy. Now, if the banks are not responding accordingly, then what the banks are telling the central bank is that our cost of doing business is not adequately being captured in what the Monetary Policy Committee is coming out with. And that is why the banks are finding it difficult to easily reduce their rates, simply because how much they contract their deposit is not what is being shown by the MPC. And because these banks are competitive forces, they may not want to perch themselves at a rate that disadvantages them. So if all the 23 banks also are clustering around a particular rate, then it is telling us that the true cost of borrowing is what the banks are exhibiting and not necessarily what the MPC is putting out.
Dr. Amwan, we're so grateful that you joined us. Of course, he's a lecturer, Finance Department at the University of Ghana Business School, helping us understand the remit of what we're talking about, the high cost of lending, as shown in the latest Bank of Ghana's report. But let's now move into the aviation sector, because we are following two recent developments in Ghana's aviation space. The first is that South Africa Airways will resume its scheduled flights to Accra and some parts of Africa from the 23rd of September. Also, the second development that we are following is a revision of Ghana's COVID-19 guidelines for Kotoka International Airport, which requires airlines to verify the QR code before boarding. Let's bring in aviation expert Sean Mendes on these trends. Sean, we're so grateful that you joined us. Let's start with South Africa Airways resuming flights. What do you make of the timing?
Well, I think, if people have been following the South African Airways saga, the government of South Africa has been trying over the last 2 years, essentially, to restructure the airline somehow. And they seem to have gotten a private sector partner now, which they're about to finalize an investment agreement with. So, if they want to make a run of it, they obviously need to restart. And I think the routes that they have selected to restart with, which are domestically to Cape Town, as well as to Harare, Lusaka, Maputo, Kinshasa, and importantly for them, Accra, are a very interesting set of routes, which they hope will give them immediate returns and the ability to generate traffic and profits from there pretty quickly.
Great, and of course we shall show our viewers some graphics to this effect, but Sean, tell us about the needed buffers that the South Africa Airways must create to offset any risks of losses moving forward.
Well, I think specifically with the Accra route, South African Airways has had a strategic partnership with Africa World Airlines for the last 3.5 years. And, the choice of Accra really shows the confidence that South African Airways, and in fact, a lot of other airlines have also shown in Ghana's development as the gateway to the West African region. Rather than going into a market like Lagos, which may be larger, they believe that Accra is a more stable market and that the partnership with the Ghanaian carrier in AWA is able for Accra to serve as the hub to not just serve the Ghana market, which is large. I mean, the Ghana market is 100 and something thousand passengers a year to South Africa, so that is large in itself. But on top of that, they will be connecting passengers to and from Lagos, Abuja, Freetown, Monrovia, and so forth. And that just shows that Accra's position as the hub has really solidified now in terms of the choice of other airlines using Accra as their gateway to the entire West African region, ahead of larger airports in Nigeria and so forth.
Great. We do know that South Africa is a huge market in Africa. And of course, how does this complement Ghana and the Continental Free Trade?
Well, I think the Continental Free Trade Agreement is a big deal for this. The Secretariat is in Accra, and as I mentioned, there were over 100,000 passengers a year between Ghana and South Africa. That number is only going to increase with the Continental Free Trade Agreement. Ghana is a growing economy, and it is importantly a stable economy. It is a lot easier to do business in Ghana than it is in Nigeria or other parts of the region right now. And that is all the things which go into play when a company like South African Airways is picking the best markets, essentially, which they can begin their operations into, because they're not really that confident of going into everything in one big bang shot. They're only coming back with 4 aircraft, I believe, and 6 routes. So it's a big compliment to Ghana and to Airports Company, GCA, and the officials who've been able to help Ghana's aviation market rebound well in the post-COVID era.
So, Sean, let's now talk about the Kotoka International Airport, the COVID-19 revision, which requires that airlines must verify the QR codes before boarding. How does this leverage our current protocols?
Well, I think it's actually a very good thing. If you recall, a few months ago, when we had this similar discussion, we discussed the importance and the need in the future of trusted traveler and travel pass programs coming out, which will need to be adopted in due course. And I think this is one of the steps which is being taken towards that end. The African Union Trusted Traveler Program, or PANABEOS, it's a very simple system to use. There are a number of labs. I think most of the major labs in Ghana are already on the system. So when you go to the lab and get your COVID test done, your report automatically comes with a QR code on it that when you scan it, it immediately says this is a genuine test and this person has tested negative. If you go to a lab outside of Ghana, for example, say in the UAE, where there isn't someone who's registered on the Trusted Traveler Program, you just have to scan your test, which you receive from those labs, and upload it to this website. And usually within a few minutes, you'll get a QR code back from the website. And now that QR code is what the airlines need to check prior to allowing the passenger to board. So you don't have people arriving in Ghana with outdated tests or with fake tests or modified tests or something like that. So it's a very good step. And, we're going to see more and more technological developments like this try to make the process a lot easier and remove, the possibility of fraud and manual error from the likelihood of passengers bringing in COVID.
Exactly, and we'll see how that pans out. Sean Mendes, we're grateful that he joined us. He's an aviation expert helping us understand the recent trends in Ghana's aviation space. You're still watching The Marketplace. We're taking a short break. When we return, we'll talk to you about how to explore affordable means of financing your home. Do stay.
Hello, my name is Evans Mensah, and you can relive all the fun and excitement on Top Story, Newsnight, and of course, Ghana Connect via podcast. All you need to do is to log on to my JoyOnline/podcast. Set for your favorite show and relive the moment. Joy 99.7 FM, your radio for discerning listeners.
Joy 99.7.
And welcome back to the program. Now, a question which dazzles many is whether to rent, buy, or build a house. The former may come as no choice to over 2 million households in Ghana whose accommodation is through rent. As we speak, Ghana's housing deficit has hit over 2 million. Figures from the Oxford Business Group show that, of course, we shall put that on your screens. To close the housing gap in Ghana, we need between 190,000 and 200,000 units will be needed to build at least at the cost of $3.4 billion each and every year over the next 10 years. Financing of housing also remains a challenge for millions of Ghanaians. Property prices are usually in the US dollars due to the reliance on imported building materials and difficulty accessing long-term cedi-denominated financing. Well, as a result, low and middle-income earners have limited access to mortgages. Well, these and many more will be the discussion in this year's JoyNews EcoBank Habitat Fair. And of course, this year we explore the choice of whether buying or building a home with emphasis on payment options and affordable packages could be your best bet. Haruna Idris is with our sales department and part of the organizers for this year's event. He joins us in studio for more discussion. Haruna, I guess it's much more of a busy month for you guys.
Yes,
help
of course.
Help us understand. Over the last week, we launched the Habitat Fair proper.
Yes.
Help us with the itinerary.
Okay, so thank you very much. Last week, Friday, we launched the EcoBank JoyNews Habitat Fair, powered by the Planned City Extension Project from Cities and Habitat.
Exactly.
So from the launch, we have some business programming that we'll be doing prior to the mini clinics.
All right.
And this year, we are going to have 3 mini clinics. Usually we do 2 or 1, but this year we are going to have 3 mini clinics. After which we have the main fair at the Accra International Conference Center. And this year we are going to have a 5-day fair at the Accra International Conference
So that's quite
Center.
different from what we experienced
Yes.
last year.
Last year we had 3 days of the fair, but the demand from our clients and patrons who come to the fair. So this year we are having 5 days fair at the Accra International Conference Center.
But however, we do know that we're having this year's fair in the wake of the housing deficit increasing by 2 million.
Yeah.
Last year was somewhere around 1.7, 1.8. Now it's increased.
Yeah.
What exactly should participants be expecting from patrons, speakers, stakeholders? Walk us through what the expectation should be in terms of the packages.
Yeah, for our clients, we have tailor-made packages, and then you can call the numbers on the screen.
All right.
When you call us, we will get something nice for you. And our patrons who will come to the fair, we have everything that you will need at the fair, from real estate to everything about housing. When you visit the fair, you will have everything, and then your problems will be sorted at the fair.
Indeed, but also many of those watching us are also interested to know about the mini clinics
Yes.
that will be coming up subsequently ahead of the main event. Walk us through what's different about the mini clinics this time around.
Okay, so let me start with the mini clinics. As I said earlier, we are going to have 3 mini clinics. On the 11th and the 12th of September, we will be at the Achimota Retail Center.
Okay, so
From
that's the
8 a.m.
11th and the 12th of September.
We'll be at the Achimota Retail Center. Then a week after, we'll go to the West Hills Mall. That's the 18th and 19th of September.
Okay.
We'll be at the West Hills Mall. Then we go to the Junction Mall. The first time we are going to Junction Mall for Habitat Fair. That will be the 2nd and 3rd of October. That will be at the Junction Mall. Before the final one, that's the main fair. Of course, that's 27th to 31st of October. That's where we have the final fair. But we are going to have 3 mini clinics before the main fair.
With the new addition being Ngwa.
Yes.
Exactly. So
Yes.
to buy or to build, what's your perspective?
It's about time.
It's about time.
Everything is about time. If you don't have the time, you definitely go for your mortgage. And luckily for us, we have EcoBank,
Great.
who will sort you out with this. Even if you are going to build, you still need money. You talk to EcoBank and then you are sorted. So to build or to buy, it's time. You need to have time. If you want to build, you need to have time. If you don't have the time, you go for the mortgages from EcoBank, who are proud partners for this year's EcoBank Habitat Fair,
And
powered
it's
by the
interested,
Plan City and
exactly. It's
Extension
interesting you
project.
mentioned EcoBank because they're also going to be helping us with all the remnant that has to do with mortgage finance.
Of
Many
course,
people
of
think
course.
that mortgages are so expensive. You're going to
Yeah.
keep paying till you're dead. All the, the myths surrounding mortgages are going to be addressed on that particular day. But walk us through the planned, the Plan City extension, as you also mentioned the numbers once again for our listeners to.
The Plan City Extension project, they are telling us you rent to own. So when you come to the fair, you get more details from them. So I'm sure last year when some of our patrons were there, they were happy with their services, and this year they are going to continue with that service they did last year. And there will be an improvement from last year as well.
Exactly. Walk us through the numbers once again on the screens for our viewers to see.
Okay. For enquiries or more information, call us on 054 690 8179 or 054 011 0389.
And you can see the numbers on your screens there, where you could get in touch with our sales representatives and the organizers of the Habitat Fair to get all the answers that you need regarding this year's Habitat Fair, which will be all-encompassing from the value chains of home mortgages, the financing of homes, whether to build, whether to buy, whether to rent. At this time, I believe that your options could be rather to buy or to build yourself. And you shall be getting all the answers to these in this year's Habitat Fair. The time again, the date line again for the mini clinics and the main event for our viewers to get themselves updated.
Okay. For the mini clinics, we are starting with the Achimota Retail Center on the 11th and 12th of September. That's the weekend.
All right.
All the mini clinics, we'll be having them during the weekends. 11th and 12th, we are at the Achimota Retail Center. 18th and 19th, we will be at the West Hills Mall for the Kasua and its environs.
Exactly.
And then we move to Junction Mall for Nungua, Tema, and its environs from the 2nd and 3rd of October.
All right.
We have the Junction Mall. That's the 3rd mini clinic before the main fair at the Accra International Conference Center.
However, we're so grateful that you joined us, and we shall have more discussions as we get up for the Habitat Fair. Of course, many thanks once again for being a part of the program. My name is Charles Aite. For more news, do log on to myjoyonline.com/business. Many thanks once again. Enjoy the rest of our programs.